In this exercise tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through how to do a hip thrust with your heels on top of one of these Swiss balls. Now, firstly, you'll notice I'm using a mat here. You don't have to use one, but I would recommend it for general comfort. So I'm going to be starting off in a position where the whole of my back and neck is in contact with the mat. I'm then going to have my heels in the middle at the top of the Swiss ball. And from there, I'm going to start to raise my hips up. Let's go through every single step one by one of how we can nail and dial in the form of this exercise. So firstly, you're going to come into that position where you're on your back. You'll notice my knees are bent to 90. From here, you can have your hands in three positions. Easiest, this would be middle, so not easy, not too hard. And this would be the hardest variation where we don't have our hands helping out during the exercise. Because the ball is something that's going to wobble, the more support we have with our hands, the easier the exercise is going to be. So firstly, before you start to raise your hips up, what I want you to do is I want you to bring your heels into the ball. You should feel at this point the hamstrings start to contract and maybe even the calves as well. So from this position where you're digging into the ball, we've got that contraction going on in the hamstrings. They're ready now to fire, and we can start to then raise up through hips. Now, I'm going to bring my hands out so you can see this movement, because what I'm going to do first is bring my tailbone up. So I'm almost doing like a pelvic tilt. I'm trying to bring my pelvis towards my head. And then from here, lower back and mid back comes up. And then I come back down in the same fashion, mid back, lower back, tailbone. So tailbone, lower back, mid back, lower back, tailbone. Tailbone, lower back, mid back, big squeeze at the top, lower back comes, and then tailbone. So from that position, what I'm not doing, if I bring the ball to the side, is just coming up with my lower back first. So imagine we're doing a glute bridge here now. So it would be that twisting and curling up first of the hip, and then lower back, mid back, as opposed to just lower back going first. If we do it in that style, what we're going to find is the lower back is going to take the brunt of the exercise, and the muscles that we're trying to work, primarily the hamstrings, glutes, a little bit of calves, they're not going to get as much attention because the lower back is just going to be coming up into doing extension. So that is the cues that I want you to follow to try and nail this. And of course, you can progress by making sure your arms are like so, and you have no support of your hands when you do the exercise. Do that for your desired amount of sets and repetitions, and that is how you do a hip thrust with your feet on a Swiss ball.